ping. You know what I mean?
Ping, ping.
His son's a victim. No, your son's not a victim. Your son killed my son. I was so angry. I cannot explain to you. When you have a child taken, the anger's unbelievable. If someone took something from me, I'll never ever get it back. I miss him, so much. To be a grieving mother is hard work. It's like living a life sentence with no end date. And people don't get that. So if you are going through what I'm going through, please reach out, because you're not going off your head. It's actually normal.
Yeah.
And it's actually okay to feel the way you're feeling.
This podcast is sponsored by Riddle Holt Builders. I want to inspire people to train so they can see the power of exercise and what it can do for the brain. Do you want to change your lifestyle, your outlook on life, physique, and have a laugh while doing so? I don't take myself too seriously, and I like to create a fun atmosphere in the gym. Working alongside some brilliant boxing coaches in Halewood ABC. It's about bringing the community together. In Sinetico Fitness Centre, there's boxing-based fitness classes and boss PTs. We have a female-only boxing boogie with the DJ too. I've got a big mouth and a big heart. I like to speak my mind, encourage others, and help people to open up. There's a podcast coming, a documentary. I've used sport and boxing to fight my demons. It can help you fight yours. Okay, welcome everybody to the Fighting Demons podcast with me, your host, John Edge, and my co-host,
Matty Edge.
Today's guest, we've got none other than Mandy Jamieson. Welcome, Mandy.
Thank you.
How are you? You okay?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So we just brought you on today because obviously we want to talk about your story and, your life and how you're doing and what you're doing. So if you can take us through it.
Yeah. My son Daniel was stabbed to death on the 3rd of July 2018, aged 16 years of age. He was bullied by a gang of 27 lads who used to set fire to his hair. They'd jump him every time he got off the bus. They made his life hell for years, and it was hard on him. You could see, in his eyes, and he killed me.
Yeah.
But the overflow of that was coming into my house, and it was affecting my daughters, because Daniel had ADHD, Asperger's. He was profoundly deaf in his left ear. So the girls got the aftermath of it. So I'm trying to stop it. I had holes in my walls and everywhere, and it was like,
Sounds
John
like
would be
myself.
coming round, like, wow. It was hard work. The last 6 months of Daniel's life, against my own source, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But he needed a man behind him.
Yeah.
I sent him up to his father, who I won't name because I don't really like him.
Yeah.
But I'll give him his due. He got a grip of him. And what I asked for was for him not to come up to Lee Park, because those kids were making my son's life hell, and it was doing me in.
Yeah.
I don't get on with Daniel's dad for my own reasons, but he should have been keeping an eye on my son, and all my son wanted to do was come up and see me. But every time he'd get on the bus to come down, they'd jump him.
Yeah.
And it was soul destroying, to see him going through that. Since Daniel's died, I've set up Dannysplace.
Brilliant.
I deliver talks to jails, youth organisations, schools. I also train Merseyside police on how to treat families involved. Brilliant. The reason being is at the crime scene that night, I had Daniel in my arms. And Daniel's father turned up, and he was arguing with the police. And I said, I should have kept my mouth shut. I said, get off him, that's his dad. John come right over and went to hit me, which is normal for him because he's a bully. But he missed. I moved my head and he missed. First time in his life he missed me.
Oh, fucking hell.
But the first time in my life, because I'd been doing boxing training myself, I must have thought I was dead hard. So I hit him and connected.
Brilliant.
But all the police seen was me hit him, not him hit me.
Yeah.
So four of them tried to choke me out on the floor. I mean, I'm only 5'4", four big rocks. I've had an apology, but it's not good enough.
No, of course.
Only for these two women shouting, get off it, it wasn't it was him. And they gave a statement to the police. But then the police wouldn't let me go in the ambulance with my son. They let him go in with my son. So I'm left standing there. And I'll never forgive them for it. You know, it probably destroyed me that night.
Yeah.
I'm covered in blood. It was in my hair. It was up
Couldn't
my
imagine
arms.
nothing worse.
We waited 35 minutes for an ambulance to come, by the way. And at that time, we didn't know that Daniel had been stabbed in his femoral artery.
Fucking hell.
So there's that little bit of hope, isn't there?
Yeah, of course.
I had to watch the colour, you know, drain off his face. You know, you got pink on your lips.
Couldn't imagine
Daniel's
nothing
were
worse.
white. He knew, you know. He knew. Because he went to me, Mum, I just want to go to sleep. I went, don't go to sleep. Please don't go to sleep. He was cold. And it done me in. And then when they come, they couldn't get... He lost that much blood that they couldn't... His veins had collapsed. They couldn't get it. And then when Nellie and Howard all come over, you know, like Father of the Year, they were like, and all that. It just went like pear-shaped then. So I was left to walk off a crime scene, by the way, dripping in blood. I was in shock. I picked his bag up off the floor and I had a hold of it, you know, like, because it was Daniel. I bought me. I was like this, walking through our estate, and my mother found me and I couldn't even speak. My mum just took the bag off me. She was like washing me. By the time we found him, they took him all the way to Aintree from ours.
Yeah, why was that?
Because apparently that's where the trauma place was, right out the Royal lads. So we were ringing around all the hospitals and then Aintree. So me and our John and our Annie drove up. I drove up there because our John had been in the pub someone and got him, so we couldn't drive. So I was in shock still. So by the time I got there, me goes in. Our John is the most sensitive, shall I say, out of the four of us. He's very feeling, our John, in that way. The man come in, he just went to me, I'm sorry, your son's dead. Just like that.
Fucking hell.
And
it's disgusting.
I already knew though, you know, but our John just broke. Our Annie broke. And then that idiot tried to come at our John. And
I remember, because obviously I grew up with John, so he told me what happened.
I mean, why? He's just a bully.
I know. Do you know what? Like, it's obviously I know the dad as well. I worked for him, didn't I? But I know what he's like, but I couldn't imagine losing my fucking son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but there was no need to take it out on our John.
Of course.
I mean, he'd already come.
Because I remember John said to me, he said, I couldn't believe it, but he was like, you know,
John
like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean?
Well, our John, I mean, God love him, he didn't know what to do. And the hospital, I said, no, I've got to go. He said, don't you want to see son? I went, no, we don't. So we drove. You're going to have to excuse me, I'm in the chain to put me on a patch, so I might lose my lip every now and then. I drove us home. Our John never come out of his room for a week, you know.
Yeah.
And then when we went to see him, our John's never ever seen a dead body or nothing like that before. He just broke him.
Yeah.
But when we went in, they took us in, into City Morgue. It's horrible, you know.
Oh, mate, yeah, couldn't imagine it.
It was like a window about that big when we walked in this room with like this little red curtain on. So CID took us all in. My mum's got like 4 kids and I've got a stepsister as well, and her husband were there. And my kids and everyone was there, and they just pulled the curtain across. And there's Daniel lying there.
Fucking hell.
So I kept going grabbing, you know, the window, because that's my child.
Yeah, of course.
And it just like, I didn't want to go back, but they make you go back. I didn't want to be there, to be honest with you, because what I'd seen that night, it just done me in.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids that did it, I knew them, I knew the parents, and they all gave alibis, 27 alibis. So what I always say is I feel ashamed for every single parent. I said, I hope you're proud of your kids. Yeah. Those kids had no shame, no nothing. I don't understand that, you know. Because, you know, if it was our Daniel that done that, the way we've been brought up, my mum's like Julie Andrews. Yeah. She goes to church every day, do you know what I mean? It's like the hills are alive. And she likes to see good in everyone, but if Daniel had done that, I'd have took him round today and made him apologise.
Yeah.
And then I'd have took our Daniel to the police station, regardless to like what other people think. You've got to.
Yeah.
No one has the right to do that.
No. Yeah, of course.
Now that kid, I won't even name him because we won't give him airtime, you know, or his dickhead father either. Yeah. He was a coward as far as I'm concerned. They were going on in the court that, you know, he's so intelligent and all this and all that. Well, if he was that intelligent, why? He had a choice. My son told me everything that was going on. if he has any kind of relationship with his father, he's gone and told his father. So the main kids went to him, if you don't stop, Daniel, when I'm going to cut your face and set fire to your dad's house.
Fucking hell.
Now, if they said that to Daniel, or Daniel said, good luck with me, mum. It's not that I'm a bully or I'm a narc or anything, but my kids are my kids.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And don't care what happens to me. I will not let any
course.
harm come to my kids. I looked after my son for years. I kept my son safe. His father had him 6 months and he died.
Yeah.
And I'll never forgive his father for that. And I can't forgive him, you know, or his idiot Wi-Fi with a large head. So it's like, but it's just kind of like, when in times like that, you don't attack the mother of your child. I brought his kids up for 16 years. I provided for them, not him. I put up with all the crap and all the messing around, having my house smashed up, not him.
Yeah.
So the fact that they actually called me for sending him up there.
Yeah.
I had to send him up there because if I hadn't, he'd died a long time ago. He needed a man behind him.
Yeah.
Now, I give credit where credit's due. He did good for them 6 months, but he still shouldn't have let him come up here. That area.
Yeah.
I mean, he told Daniel, you're not going up there, you're not going up there. He was there the following week coming up to me because they're dead healthy, saying I'm not. So he'd come up and get all the shite out of my fridge and stuff like that. And he'd get, Mum, I need chocolate. But it's one of them, isn't it? But I miss him, you know, so much. To be a grieving mother is hard work.
Yeah.
I have to go to work. I get up at 5:30 every morning. I get up at 5:30 this morning because I have to sort my head out.
Yeah.
I've got PTSD now because of what happened. So I hate nighttime.
Well, that's why we wanted to get you on, really, because, you know, I wanted to know how you cope with what's happened there. And
it's like living a life sentence with no end date. It's people think, I mean, even my family, to be honest with you, I've snarled at all.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, you know what I mean? It's like the worst thing that can ever happen to a mother.
They've grieved for Daniel because it's not his son. He's my child.
It's different for yourself, isn't it?
He grew in my belly, do you know what I mean? I give birth to him, I brought him up and that. So they keep telling me to move on and grieve.
Yeah.
And I'm going, hang on a minute. Even our John, that breaks my heart because our John, I idolise him, you know.
Yeah.
No one's saying I like protect him size from 6'5".
Yeah.
You're talking to, it's my child, my baby.
Yeah.
Even call him baby now because he is to me.
Yeah.
And they just keep telling me to grieve and move on. So
It's something that you can't. No one could understand unless they've been through it.
So I tend to stay away from my family now, and it's broke us up a little.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
Of course.
I mean, it is like how can I put it? It's soul destroying.
Yeah.
So when I wake up, I go to sleep overnight and I see Daniel. And I could relive everything, go all over again. So I sleep an hour, I'm on and off an hour. And then when I wake up, you realise he's gone.
Yeah.
And people just don't understand that. So for me, I have to people think, oh, isn't she strong and all this?
Yeah.
It's, face value, probably people think I am. I got judged for not crying in public. I will not cry for anyone in public. I'm very private that way. I mean, I've moved now because I've had to, because if I didn't, I was going to end up in jail.
Yeah, I can imagine,
And they bailed them kids 200 yards from me. And I had then asked me to keep the peace in Lee Park. I was mortified.
Yeah.
And I've worked in the welfare law since 1991. I'm a housing officer now. So when CID come, I was their worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So I said to them, the moment you lie to me, I said, you don't get through my door. I gave them 27 kids' names, 27 kids' addresses. I give them all the case, if you like, and they continued to lie to me. So the only one I'd let in, I had two flows. If I was a family liaison officer for CID, the other one I hated her. I wouldn't let her in, and I wouldn't let the DCI in because he lied to me. I'd only let Karen Lloyd in because I love her. So I wouldn't I'd say, oh no, only Karen. She's the only one I trust and she's the only one who had my back right through all this. You see, Daniel's dad never had to put up with nothing.
Yeah.
I had all them kids outside my door threatening, and I had my girls in the house. I was launching bricks and everything at them. Tony Mason come round the corner.
No, Tony.
Tony went, move! Know the way he is.
I remember Tony, brilliant. But my uncle staying Tony.
Yeah, well, Tony at the time was going out with RJ, and I'm like I'm inside in the room. Come on, take me on. Because I was so angry. I cannot explain to you. When you have a child taken, the anger's unbelievable. I've never. I mean, I've always been a crank, don't get me wrong. It's like, you know what you know. But the anger that I've still got it now, but it's not as bad as it was. You've got no idea, you know.
Yeah.
And if I'd have been let loose, I'd have you feel like you don't know what you're going to do you?
I completely
But I love Terry just come round the corner and he went, move, like that, and they all like scattered.
Yeah, he was a feared man back in the day, Tony.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what he's like now, but when I was growing up, he was like one of the hard cases by ours.
He's engaged now to this girl, and he's trying to have a baby with her and that. But I mean, I wish him well. I'm just glad he's not with our Jane, to be honest with you. But again, that's just. But he did help me that night. Yeah. And then we had them turning up in the October to his mates. Daniel had 2 friends with him, Alex and Bran. And Alex had a girlfriend who lived in Belvale. Now, she was only 14, he was only 15 at the time. So someone seen Alex get off the bus and go to this house in Belvale. Right. One of the park boys, that's what they call themselves. So next thing, 12 of them come, all hammers and everything, thinking, okay, look at me. But you know what made me howl? The wall's only 3 foot tall. If you wanted someone, you just kept over it. And they're like, oh, and all this. So the family was terrified. It took 2 hours for the police to come. This is a star witness in a murder trial that hasn't happened, right? Is getting threatened with knives and hammers.
Get all right, we've got it all on camera, and we've got the hammer in the hand on camera. We've got it all. It's all right, we've got it all. We've got the hammer in his hand. We've got it all on camera. So do yourself a favour. Go now.
Get the park thing now. Come in.
And then they said to that family, well, get rid of Alex and then they won't come back, will they? So the family come to me the next day. So I contacted CID and I said, you know, if you don't get here in 10 minutes, I'm going to put this video up all over social media. And at that time, my Facebook was like, ah. Yeah. So they come. They arrested the 12 of them. And in one of the bedrooms, they found 8 pairs of trainers and one of them matched up to footprints that were on the field. But we were not allowed to use that for evidence, by the way.
Why?
I still don't know. At the moment.
Why take them if you find evidence and you can't use it?
He wouldn't let us use the video as evidence to show them what kind of kids we were dealing with, because the kid who killed Daniel, he was like bullied. Allegedly he was. But at the same time, why put a kid in front of a boxer? Because my son was a boxer. Yeah. He's never had a fight in his life, known full well. He was going to get battered. So in court, they had some of the park boys up. We only went to see Danny batter him. Now, they're supposed to be this kid's mate. Yeah. So the fight was quite quick. Daniel battered him. Now, it should have been done and dusted then.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he pulled the knife out and he stabbed him. So he was a coward. And he knew what was going to happen. And to me, if you were that frightened of kids, you go and tell your dad. Now, his dad thinks he's all that. He done a white-collar boxing thing, and I watched him on it. Someone sent me, and I thought, oh, my God, he fights like a fanny. But he's been trying to bully me since Daniel died. And he'll put up, it wasn't murder, it was manslaughter. That's all he ever says. Right. We had a jury of 10 because 2 of them went to New York for Valentine's Day. We were not allowed to show relevant evidence. And all he's done is slag my son off. His son's a victim. Now, your son's not a victim. Your son killed my son. In court, his barrister went, you know, he showed remorse. He's apologised to his family. He's never apologised to me for taking my son. Yeah. And I
don't think an apology.
But I said to him, if you were any kind of a parent, you'd have come and knocked on my door and apologised. Yeah. And do you know, if he'd have done that, I had to give him respect, you know.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean?
He just terrorises me all the time, even on Billy's one. So what we started doing, I used to react, I don't know. So every time he does something, I go, okay, thanks for watching. Yeah. Well, Sky News contacted me, with a little Olivia that got shot.
Right.
And they asked me to go to Highton and do an interview over the Grassam mentality in Liverpool. So I know who it was. He's always connected to it, but he denies it, but he is, because he's the only one that comes at me, you see.
Yeah.
See Mandy Jamieson using another child's death for 5 minutes of fame.
Fucking hell.
So it's amusing. You've got to pity them, haven't you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So I just find it highly amusing. I just put on the dickhead and then blocked him. Because I'm not giving anyone my power. I'm not going to,
Of course.
let them. At the end of the day, that kid's a coward.
Yeah.
He got 11 years.
Who actually got, sort of sentenced? One out of all of them, yeah.
Out of all of them. And do you know what annoyed me even more was they wouldn't let me give evidence in court. The reason being is because I had to blow Merseyside police officer choked me out on the floor.
Yeah.
That's why they wouldn't let me go in. So I wrote to Judge Aubrey, who was lovely. And I said it was 6 pages. I never told CID or no one. So when he was found guilty of manslaughter, I wrote to Judge Aubrey and I said to him, if you do not sentence him appropriately, I said all the kids in Liverpool are going to believe that, it's okay to stab someone because you'll only get 18 months on manslaughter. I said, this needs to be looked at, because if you don't, those kids are going to carry on and carry on. And I said to him, I have not been allowed to speak. I said, my ex-husband attacked me at the scene and was allowed to go in an ambulance with my son when it should have been me.
So he was allowed in the ambulance, was he?
I wasn't.
So he
they
was,
said,
though?
yeah, because they said I started the fight and I never.
Fucking hell.
That is terrible, man.
Fucking hell.
Disgusting.
So I'll never forgive the police for that. Now, Andy Cook sent me a letter acknowledging that these 4 police officers were out of line and a kind of an apology, which is not good enough.
No, it was fuck.
And then, I don't know if you know, but last Christmas, 2 days before New Year, the Daily Mail, where I live, it's like cabin in the woods, no one can find me,
Yeah.
It took him 4 hours, and he knocked on my door. I said, so you went to him, can I just ask you, are you aware that a Merseyside police officer's been sacked? He said, for taking a selfie at your son's crime scene.
Fucking hell.
Oh my God.
I said, what are you talking about? I didn't even know. So I brought him in. I said, come on, talk. So he went, I said, how do you know it wasn't
Fucking
Bran
disgusting,
Regan?
that.
He said, all we know it was in 2018. There was 2 deaths in 2018. Poor Bran Regan, who was our Daniel's mate, by the way, and went to the same school.
Wow.
And his poor mum, Julie, I love her, God love her, she's been through it. And Daniel, he went, it wasn't Bran. I don't know who Bran is. It was your son. So I rang and contacted our lovely mayor, Joanne. And Joanne contacted the police for me and gave them the due. They phoned twice. I said, well, how dare you put all over the paper, someone has been, and not tell me.
That's what I mean.
I said, how dare you?
Crazy, that.
So
Crazy.
I put a complaint in against the police. But what I've done is I said, at the time, obviously, when we lose my son, they bailed them. I want an explanation as to why you bailed someone 200 yards from my house. Why the police didn't put me on a red mark thing. They said they forgot. Sorry, we forgot.
Fucking hell.
I could go on and on
Yeah.
and on. So there was 7-page complaint anyway that's gone in. And the head of the people who investigate police officers,
Yeah.
he come and he's lovely, Mark, I'll give him to you, but they brought my flow with them. And I said to them, what did my flow say to you? And he said, I have to look at you. I have to give you eye contact and not lie to you because you'll know. I said, I will. Because I wouldn't let the other fella in, was I? Because he lied to me.
Yeah.
So when I went through it all, he's been dead supportive of me. I mean, he's given his due. It wasn't him that done it.
Yeah.
But they are trying to help me through all this and that. But I just think that, it's ignorance more than anything.
Yeah.
So when I do talks with Merseyside police, it's not shame, and I just say to them, to jump on a grieving mother whose kid's bleeding out on the floor is wrong, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
And then I went through it all. So I said, we're not the criminals because we get treated like criminals.
Yeah.
I said, you need to start respecting victim families because we don't get treated good,
Yeah. I know. That's why I wanted you on. Do you know what I mean? Because I wanted to find out that.
Well, victim families get treated terrible. The perpetrators get more. They were putting CCTV up on, their houses, and I had to pay for mine. The best was, John will kill me for saying this, but it's okay. You know, after they done that outside that house in Belvale,
Yeah.
me and our Jane walks over to Belvale.com, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, painting the one hand, brushing the other. To where them kids sat, and I wrote, Wade Lewis is a grass on all of the porch, you know where they were. So next thing, knock, knock. Iron Man's, this is police. Did you paint the park? I went, yeah.
Fucking hell.
So they went, what? I said, yeah. I said, I put it on Instagram and Facebook. Do you want to have a look?
Fucking hell.
I said, it's booming at the moment. So they went, please don't do that again. I said, well, I can't promise you that I won't do it again. Then someone put a brick through his window and I got the blame, obviously. So they come and knocked on my door. So I said, listen, if it was me, I'd have had someone videoing it and putting it up on social media. I said, so they believed it wasn't me, because I'd have said yeah anyway.
Yeah.
Because I amused all the CID, because when every time the police, I go, yeah, they did, sorry.
It's just, do you know what though? Just going through what you went through, I can imagine. I do this exactly the fucking same.
Tried to not chew them over, you know. Our James was in the car, she put her hood up. She was going, oh my God.
Honest.
It wasn't, you go through all kinds of like, it's awful. Yeah. I mean, when Daniel first got buried, I mean, I couldn't watch him going, you know.
Yeah.
I was up there all the time. I was like raking, you know, like putting all fence around and that, because it rained and he hated the rain. So I was putting umbrellas. And so he didn't get wet because he hated the rain. And then I went through phases and wanting to dig him up and everything. You get, honest to God.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
Your brain, it's just like, wow. And it's just, it's hard.
It's hard to process.
I couldn't imagine, like, one of my kids, you know, leaving the earth, especially that way. Couldn't imagine it.
Yeah, well, people, I was getting messages from people saying, well, you know, I've lost a kid, it was sick. And I go, I'm so sorry that you lost your child. I said, but my child wasn't sick. You see, what people don't understand is when a child... He was taken.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that.
And someone took something from me, I'll never ever get it back.
That's what I'm saying. When you do little things like that, when you're saying about the painting and that, it's like someone's took, you know what I mean? So like, I can totally get it.
But I just amused CID anyway. They thought it was hysterical. I don't get me wrong, I never give them... I wasn't easy, because once you lie to me, I don't know, I'm not doing it. But as I say, I've had that idiot, you know, it wasn't manslaughter, it was murder to me. Because 2 of the kids, when I had them all outside that night, they went to me, yeah, we was there, but we didn't think he would die. So as far as I'm concerned, that is
murder, yeah.
You know, the intent was there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we've got a stepsister called, oh, sorry, I'm not going to hold your props down.
Don't worry about it.
We've got a stepsister. And I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong, I do love her. But her daughter has got twin boys. And throughout, going up to the trial, I was getting people telling me that they were involved. And I'm going, no, they wasn't. They wouldn't do that to me. And then it found out that they knew Daniel was going to be stabbed. Both of them. And that killed me, you know.
Yeah.
Now, and Nassie's going, wasn't my kids? And I hate it. Wasn't my kids. So I felt like smacking her. So I run over to her house, I was trying to put a window in and everything. She was going to kill her.
Oh, I can imagine it, you know.
But she's moved to Birth now. I hate her. I mean, to protect them 2 kids, they weren't there. It doesn't matter if they wasn't there. They knew my son was being stabbed. Because she was the first person to phone me. And I said to her, how did you know? So she went, Harry told me. So it doesn't matter if they weren't there. Yeah. They knew my child was going to be stabbed and they never rang me. Because you know what Alex said to me, and it breaks me every time I think of it. I'd apparently gone to the shop because I was cutting the grass off first, so I'd gone to get ciggies or whatever. And they were at the top of our road, and Daniel went, quick, here's my mum. So Alex said, what are you hiding from your mum for? He said, because trust me, she'll make a show of me. He said, if she finds out I'm up here and I'm going to be frightened, she'll go on the field. It's not that I think I'm hard or anything like that. It's just, he's my kid.
Oh, of course, of course. Do exactly the same. My mum would. My mum was like that.
So Alex went, I wish you would have made a show of him now. Why didn't you turn your head? And I said, Alex, if I was meant to turn my head, I was off.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart when he said that, and I thought, wow. And then it's just wrong.
Yeah.
And none of these kids have got consciences.
No.
So I find with gang mentality, and I know how they do it. The kid that stabbed Daniel, the main one, he had them all bullying him, you see.
Yeah.
So this kid's getting terrorised, and then he comes in like, the hero.
Yeah.
Leave him alone and that. So then he looked up to him and thought, oh my God, he's just saved me from all these bullies. So he must be my friend. So, but he hung around with them for 7 years. But his dad was trying to make out like, he was getting terrorised and bullied. Yeah, he was at first. But then he was also a part of the bullying of Daniel.
Yeah.
So that's not justifiable to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe he couldn't fight to save his life because he couldn't fight as well as for paper bag.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's wrong because I don't think if you're meant to be that way, you don't be that way. But this kid was then put in front. They set him up for a fall.
Yeah.
But that father has never been round to the kid that set him up. He's never gone round to that family. Instead, he's terrorised me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I mean, I'm not being funny. It's a good job I am the way I am because that's probably got sectioned for what he was trying to do to me. He's going to me, you've had my daughter terrorised. I never had his daughter terrorised at all. His kid was terrorised because of what his son done. And I'm sorry his little girl got terrorised because I'm not about that, you know.
Of course.
I don't want any other kids to get hurt.
Yeah,
but he blamed me for that and that had nothing to do with me.
It's sad, isn't it? It's like the ripple effect of what happens, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I know families that have been torn apart by similar things, and just because that one act that like has happened, it has a ripple effect that affects the whole family.
It does. Well, because of like what Susan's grandkids did, I didn't want to know.
Yeah.
My dad died 2 years ago. He had a stroke and I idolised him, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? He allowed me to be me. And I love him and I miss him really. Yeah. But I haven't been able to grieve for me dad because I haven't processed Daniel yet. And like, people don't get it. It doesn't take 5 minutes. You can't do it. It doesn't work that way. But you know, my dad loved him. He knew exactly. I can't hide nothing, you see. I'd walk and he'd go, what have you done?
Yeah.
I haven't done nothing. It wasn't me. Or he'd go, have you done that? I go, yeah, sorry. He was the only authority I had in my life because my other was just like Julie Andrews and I never took no notice of her, but my dad.
Yeah.
I absolutely idolised him. And so when he died, I said to me mum, because they were our stepsisters, I said, if they come, I'm not coming. Now, I did that out of respect. I wasn't spitting me dummy out.
Yeah.
I was supposed to stand up in the church and give a talk, for me dad. If she'd have given me eye contact, I wouldn't care what church I was in. I'd have killed her. So out of respect, I didn't go to my own father's funeral because of her. So apparently on the day, Susan turned around and said not to go. And she came out, like, taking their side. Taking their side? Your kids were involved in my child's death. So I said, they're not related to you. My son, your grandson, is in a boxing out in cemetery. And you're saying to me, but there is blood. I said, you know.
Yeah, of course. No, get it.
And it broke me. And my mum doesn't get it. So I don't speak to my mum. And it may be people think I'm being wrong or whatever. I can't forgive her because she doesn't think she's done anything wrong.
Yeah.
They're not her family.
See it, can they, you know what I mean?
That's not her family.
Of course, yeah.
We're her blood.
Yeah.
Daniel was her blood. So why, if you to say that to me, I can't forgive her.
Yeah.
Then the best one, gets worse. I don't drink because I don't trust myself. And then last year in May, my auntie was 70. And our part used to have the coffee house in Moulton.
Yeah.
And she's got like the IVF hall. So we had the 70th party in there. So because it was just family, I had a drink. But I wasn't pissed or nothing like that. But I had a lovely day. Next thing I seen this woman talking to me mum, and I thought, I know your face. And next thing she come over to me, the kid that's at fight, Daniel's hair. It's her kid. Why was he there?
Yeah.
Why? Knowing full well I was going to my auntie, allow it to be there. So she's talking to my mum, my son was friends with Daniel. No, your son's at fight, he was there.
Fucking hell.
So she come over to me, she went, don't suppose you want to speak to me, do you? Well, I ended up smacking her anyway.
I can imagine.
Well, I was the worst in the world. So they all turned on me.
Fucking
the family. I thought, wow, she's the time and the place. I said, why was she there?
Yeah.
So I thought, so we don't speak to our partner. So I feel like I'm falling out with everyone, but I'm not, because they're disrespecting my son.
Of course, when something like that happens, you're going to have no filter. Do you know what I mean? The anger will just come out. Do you know what I mean?
It's where when come to run at me as well, and I went, I was like, you've got no fear either.
No, that's what I mean. I've got the same myself. I've had things happen to me, and I've got the worst temper going, and I can just go. I can't hold it back. When I've got a problem, I'll just go straight for your throat. You know what I mean?
Hide it.
Yeah. And that's my problem. It's like, when you have things that happen to you, usually, you'd have a bit of a filter where you can hold it back, and I'm the same. I can't hold it back. If I've got a problem, I'll just fucking come out there, and I'm the same. I feel like I'm falling out with everyone. You know what I mean? Because
my family were all making out like I'm cuckoo. I'm not being funny. I'm a house officer. I work full time. I run Danny's place. And maybe I'm a little bit cuckoo, but I haven't had no breakdown.
No.
So, they just think, you've got to move on, you've got to grieve. I'm sick to death of listening to it.
You don't need to listen to anyone, really. I think the thing is obviously it's horrific what you've been through, but for you to have to suppress that anger on a daily basis, and live through that is, it's admirable for yourself. To inspire other families with all the good things that you're doing,
I mean, like probation have just done a video for them, because I work a lot with probation and youth offending teams, and they made a video of me, and it's just basically the ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it says on it, was just after the vigil, I'm driving to work, and we played Blinded by Your Grace, by Storms. That was at Daniel's funeral. There was 2 versions of it.
Yeah.
And then it come on the radio, and I am strong, but this particular day, I can't control it. I'm driving, it felt all right. Going down Hospital Prom, and next thing, the tears were like...
I've done the same myself. I've listened to that song in the car, and I've just thought about something and started crying my eyes up while I'm driving. I couldn't even see.
But I've actually woke up crying, and apparently it's called silent tears, because it suppresses so much.
Yeah.
I must cry in my sleep, and it's hard work. So... it's like you're constantly you're thinking, you've got to put this front on. So every morning when I wake up, I have to deal with Daniel first before I can get it. And I'm always late for work as well. And I'm up at 5:30. Yeah. So it's our John goes to me, but why did you get up that early? He doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And it's just hard.
Yeah.
But who helped me more than anything? Our Olivia was born in December. And Daniel died in July. Our John's daughter. Yeah. She's like a doppelganger of him, I absolutely idolise that child.
Yeah.
I've had her since she was 3 weeks old every weekend. And she just means so. She even looks like Daniel, it's weird. Yeah. But I absolutely idolise her. And she's helped me so much. I mean, I support victim families as well. One of my good friends is Leanne. I love Leanne White,
Yeah.
She's beautiful inside and out, that woman,
How does that work, all the victims' families then, and like how does it all work?
Because we've been through it ourselves, I think you find, I've been to a trauma counsellor and all she did was cry. And I was like, why are you crying? Never happened to you. And I never got no help from them. Who helped me was Sam National, because they've all been through it. Yeah. So the fact that I've been through it, me and Leanne understand each other better than anyone do.
Right.
And again, Marielle supports Leanne. And because I know what I can read it like a book, because I know exactly what's wrong with her when I see her. And I know at the moment, she's still got the anger going on. But you know what a beautiful soul that she's got,
Yeah.
And baby Ava shouldn't have been taken. She was a child.
Yeah. So sad. Yeah.
It is. And her family, I love them, And her mum is an absolute warrior. Mama Shad, and I call her, I love her.
Yeah.
We've got to stick together, because
you
understand
have that
each
attachment,
other.
don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
It is, but you see, to me,
horrific circumstances, but you'll have that like sort of bond with that person then, because they know what you're going through, and no one else does.
Yeah. And I was made up at the vigil because Olivia's mum, baby Olivia, coming, but she had to leave because she was distraught.
Yeah.
And I'd reached out for her, please come and that, but it was too soon.
Yeah.
But, she knows that we're there for her. I mean, I can't imagine being there been shot and it's gone right through you and gone into your child.
Crazy.
It's just wrong. And the grassing mentality in Liverpool's awful.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting, to be honest, when something like that happens, you know what I mean?
It's not grassing when it's made, especially when it's not a baby. No. It really isn't.
Especially when it's fucking innocent, you know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of like when
really nothing to do, you know what I mean? It's like, that was fucking...
Well, a lot of families like myself, I mean, I got left to pay for the funeral and for the headstone because Daniel's dad spat his dummy out because I wanted to be involved with the headstone and stuff like that. So on Daniel's headstone says Daniel Jamieson. What he forgets is, and his idiot wife is that I brought Daniel up. Daniel was my son. He's the only one of my kids that look like me, you know.
Oh.
The girls are all like the dad, and regardless, I asked for help off him and he refused me for years. My mum asked him for help, but he didn't want to upset his wife because Daniel was hard to work.
Yeah.
Do you know, I even contacted social services once. I said, will you help me?
Yeah.
And they said to me, I will take him out for the day. I said, what?
I had that myself. We used to go out some days out and that, you know what I mean? They'd take us out on the odd day out. And
he needed help.
Crazy, yeah.
I was asking for help and no one would give me.
So,
I mean, in the end, I started to learn myself about ADHD and stuff like that. And then it worked out 4 years ago after I got diagnosed with it. I went, what do you mean?
Me.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I know a few people, I think, one of my schoolmates, Carla Dore, put up, she'd been diagnosed with something, do you know what I mean? Well, Carla was my best mate growing up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like Carla.
You know what I mean? And a brother Spencer and that, do you know what I mean? So, it's crazy, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That, like, the way that we're all getting diagnosed with these things now, and like, you know.
But it's not affecting me. I mean, I've been doing welfare law for like 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's not, to me, the way people like sort of label it as bad, never bothered me. I worked all my life, so you know, it was like one of them. But
you've developed your own kind of coping mechanisms and kind of like strategies, haven't you?
Yeah, it is. But all my grief's gone into Danny's place, so I like talking about Daniel.
You know what I was going to say about Danny's place? Like, what is it that you're exactly doing there?
I talk about how the ripple effect of knife crime affects families.
Right.
When I introduced them to Daniel, so we have like Stormzy on and we have all pictures from when he was a baby up to when he died, up to that age. And then I showed that video of them kids in Belvale. Yeah. And we go through each thing that's gone on and I say to them about what happened at the funeral, about me wanting to dig him up and all that.
Yeah.
And then I had a music producer make me a video and it's got Daniel's heartbeat on.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I know I have to impact. So it starts off the slower version of Blinded by Your Grace. And we've got Daniel boxing. Next thing, the beep comes up and then it flatlines. And I say to the kids, this is how quick your life goes. And then, because I don't think that we should wrap them in cotton wool, I think that we need to be completely transparent and honest. And it is hard hitting what I do.
Yeah.
And the schools have to contact the families first to explain to them. But you know what? The kids, after they all come over and hug me, and they all say to me, you know, I didn't realise. I said, because all people see is that a child's been taken in the papers or on the telly or whatever. They don't see what happens after it.
Of course.
They don't know what happens when we go to the morgue and then, you know, all them horrible kids trying to bully you and stuff like that. What the police do to you. They just see what goes on in the papers. No one understands.
But that's what I was going to say, because obviously I'd heard it on the news and in the papers, and then, like, obviously, like, it was like about a year or two later, I was training John. And then when he told me, I was like, fucking hell, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
And then he told me all the other stories, and I was like, and that's when it started to this home. And then obviously, because I trained him all the time, he'd tell me more and more. And then it was just that one time not long ago. And then I'd literally got off in the car to come on the radio. And then, like, and I was like, fucking hell, and I phoned him straight away. Yeah. And I said, look, I think we need to go, because I told him before about the podcast, you know what I mean? But then I thought I didn't want to pest you and all that, you know what I mean? And then when he said to me about the Vigil and that, you know what I mean? And I was like, can you go down? And I was like, oh, I'm busy. I sent our Matty up, do you know what I mean? And he was like, oh, mate, it was that powerful. Yeah. And I was like, you know, and just things like that.
Yeah. I was the same, to be honest. It was just so moving and it's so inspirational what you're doing, and the fact that you're getting all these different families that have been infected in so many ways together. It's like your message and the power of echo and the ripple effect of your message alone. It can change people's lives, and it is changing people's lives.
I just want victim families to know that they're not on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I would say, please reach out. I mean, because the Queen died, we normally put it all over the telly, but we couldn't because we couldn't do anything quite with the Queen. So I said she was selfish dying that week because it was our vigil. Sorry. Sorry, God. Because it was a good turnout and everything. We had this singer on called John Paul Hayes, always boss.
Yeah.
I heard him singing in a car park. He had a video up on Facebook. So I said, can anyone sing this song? And he said, I'll do it.
Everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky. And here on earth, everything's different. There's an emptiness.
But wasn't he good?
Yeah, he made it his own as well.
Yeah, and then he done another version of it at the end.
I'm out of pain now, I'm flying high. I want you to believe me when I say I'll hold you in my arms again once again. Here I am with those who have passed before me. Not alone, I have loved ones surrounding me.
But it's just brilliant and that. But the families that were there, I mean, it was just nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we had the surgeon that works on Daniel. Nick Ilmer's he's set up an organisation called Nice Savers. So I wanted to introduce him because he means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Well, he was heartbroken after Daniel died. And they just said, that's it, that's enough. We've got to do something. So they are doing all the bleed packs and they're supporting the Ava White Foundation as well. I mean, they've done so well, you know, the White family.
The murder of a 12-year-old girl in Liverpool city centre. Ava White was stabbed by a teenage boy when she was out with friends at the Christmas lights switch on. Her family is calling for young people to leave knives at home to stop another tragedy. They've been speaking to our Merseyside correspondent, Andy Bonner.
She was loving, she was caring, she was the life and soul of our family.
Ava White's family hasn't been the same since she was cruelly taken from them. A long trial in which a boy was jailed for her murder hasn't helped, but her aunts have channeled their grief into a foundation to help and educate others.
Children shouldn't be losing their lives through knife crime. Not just losing their lives, but other people getting hurt, aren't they? Like, they're just choosing to leave the house, aren't they, with a knife in the pocket. And I don't think they understand maybe the consequence and the ripple effect of what it causes with families.
They'll be spending tomorrow's anniversary in private with Ava's mum and sister.
It's going to be unbearable. I couldn't imagine what Ava's mum's feeling when she's having a bad day every day.
Ava's family has bravely started talking about their experience to young people on Merseyside.
It's a pandemic, it's a knife pandemic that we're having to go through now. If we can try and stop one child from leaving the house with a knife, then that's something we've achieved. So if we can just go and educate other children about the ripple effects that we're having to deal with now, then maybe they won't leave the door with a knife.
They've been working with dannysplace, a non-profit run by a mother who lost her son to knife crime. They hold sessions at the Aldonian Housing Association in Liverpool, hoping they'll spark change.
Parents, do you know where your children are? Who they're hanging around with, what they're doing, but more importantly, have you checked your children? Because by doing so, you could save another child's life, and people don't get that.
Anybody fancy doing our job?
Nurse clinician Rob Jackson sees the results of knife crime all too often. He too educates young people, and like Ava's family, is bringing life-saving trauma packs to the streets.
This is going to take a generation to change. It's going to be these young people who, hopefully, by the information that we're given, will realise that this is not a life that they want for themselves. If Ava had a legacy, it would be that this work has actually upped its game even more so, if you like.
Merseyside police say knife crime has reduced since Ava's death. Officers say those who carry knives for protection are actually more likely to be injured as a result. I joined them as they searched the park for hidden weapons.
It may appear like they're looking for a needle in a haystack, but these are intelligence-led searches. So there is a hope that the police may find something here today.
The incident involving Ava was horrific, and the impact is long-standing on the communities of Merseyside and the family, and we've got to continually try and take every absolutely action we can to mitigate that risk and reduce harm.
Just think about what you're doing before you make a massive mistake, massive. Not only for the person that dies, but for your family and everybody else involved. Yeah, just leave your knives at home.
Andy Bonner, ITV News, Liverpool.
They're doing really good. But Nikhil Mishra, what did you think of Nikhil?
Yeah, I thought it was all really powerful.
For many years we've witnessed firsthand the effects of many acts of violence within our communities, and we've also felt the pain, felt the anguish and the anger when a young life is lost. Each patient, each person is never forgotten. At times of quiet reflection, we revisit those instances to remember, to learn, and to strengthen our resolve to make this better. To be the change that we want to see in this world. As Mandy said, the Knife Savers campaign was born from such instances. And in 2018, a team of doctors and nurses who witnessed a succession of young patients being admitted with knife wounds, some fatal, had enough. It hurt us. We decided that enough was enough. We wanted to bring our medical knowledge and our skills beyond the boundaries of our hospitals. We wanted to change things. The Knife Savers campaign was started to educate and empower literally anyone and everyone from the region, from all ages and from all walks of life, how to control major bleeding from a knife wound and to educate the effects of a single knife wound in carrying. Most importantly, we created this with young people themselves who are the victims of knife wounds in our hospitals. Their families, their friends, their mothers, their fathers, they helped us write, develop and evolve Knife Savers. And because of them to date, our campaign has trained almost 2,000 people how to react.
The way that everyone came together, because it's all these kind of partners, isn't it?
Many of you have come with heavy hearts as we keep vigil for the victims of violence and crime.
Their focus and my focus is on stopping these crimes from ever taking place to begin with. And so that's why remembering those who have been lost is so important. They inspire all of us to do more and to fight harder. A huge thank you to everybody who has brought us together tonight. A huge thank you to Mandy for her tireless work.
I said some things and so did he, and I thought we were going to be alright. I didn't want to get hurt, and I don't know why he had that knife. But I bleed a lot, and I saw a bright light. The doctors and nurses fought hard to save my life. He said he wanted me dead because of stupid falling out. Dear Mum and Dad, I'm sorry I won't be home tonight. I'm sorry that you won't meet my children or be able to hold my hand or see me turn into a man. I'm sorry I was there in the wrong place at the wrong time. That boy who stabbed me didn't know the consequences of life. He didn't know that I would die or that you would be without your son tonight.
16 is absolutely no age for a young person to die, and in such a brutal and what was an unavoidable way. Danny is only one such young person amongst many others, all individuals in their own right, not just victims of knife or gun crime, but as a person. Over this past year, we've had the shocking murder of 12-year-old Ava White, and in August 3rd, 3 people were killed, including 9-year-old Olivia Clark-Crowell, Ashley Dale and Samuel. These can be added to the list of people over the years whose deaths have been deeply affected to the city, including, of course, Joseph Lappin, Sam Cooke and Rhys Jones. Each deserves to be remembered for who they were, who they loved, and how special they were to their loved ones and their families and friends. And that is why this is a positive occasion. It's not happy, but it could be positive. This enables people to come together to reflect on what's happening to them or to others, to remember and to gain strength from each other, and to find motivation to help ensure other families don't have to go through the same awful experience. I know that Mandy, through the work of dannysplace, delivers talks on how people and the ripple effect of gun crime and knife crime affects families and the wider communities in which we live. There are other projects in the city and across Merseyside that have the same goal of stopping people from picking up a knife or a gun whenever they feel frightened or threatened. These projects go beyond just words. They provide the environments and the activities where young people feel safe, loved, respected, and can build their self-worth. This can be through either football, boxing clubs, art, dance, drama, music, skateboarding, whatever is needed should be made available to them. But above all, it is how to show kindness and respect to each other. Violence reduction units were set up across the country after the rise of knife crime in 2018-19. Ours is called the Merseyside Violence Reduction Partnership, and it treats serious violence as a public health issue, something that cannot just be eradicated by policing alone. It needs a partnership between local authorities, community groups, health, probation, faith groups, schools, police, families, everyone to pull together, and they must play their part. A Knife Angel made a huge impression when it came to Liverpool in December 2018. Its first major stop on its anti-violence tour was Liverpool. It also visited Birkenhead earlier this year. It prompted a welcome and a different kind of debate, and its reflection about the impact of knife crime. It emphasised that it's not just the person killed, it's the families, the friends of the victims, and even the perpetrators themselves, whose lives are changed in that split second. We must never forget the pain it brings, but we also have to hope that the future things can, should be, and will be different. Thank you.
Many of you already know Mandy and some of you won't. As has been said before, Mandy's son Daniel died through knife crime in 2018, which obviously changed Mandy's life forever. Through the strength that she got from the Lord of her son Daniel and her daughters, family and friends, she channeled all her energy into outdoors. Mandy set up dannysplace, a non-profit making organisation reaching out to victims and perpetrators and people who have been involved in violent crime to try and make a difference. Mandy's talks, which she does for free for any organisation that reaches out for her. She challenges these talks in a different way. She talks more about the impact and the ripple effect that it has on the lives of the families and friends around the victims and the impact it has on them. And also the perpetrators, families and friends. Getting these people to understand it's not always about them, it's about the people that are left picking up the pieces through no fault of their own. The talks and speeches are very inspiring and help make you reflect on the impact this has. Mandy could have wallowed in her own grief. She channeled it in a positive way to try and make a difference. She currently works alongside me at the Eldonian Community-Based Housing Association, helping people where she became an integral part of the organisation. That's what Mandy's good at, giving help and hope. She has a heart of gold. Mandy is an inspiration to all of us. We don't always see the pain others are going through because they look fit and healthy deep down in their hearts. They're battling every day with the heartache of losing somebody close to them. So please try and understand and remember their pain. She once told me every day she wakes up, she goes through the awful event, but she keeps going, keeps trying to make a difference.
Victim families, please know, not on your own. We're all here together and we're all in this together as well. Please don't ever think that you can't cope or anything else. Just reach out. We're all there for you. This is a situation. This is our story. We're all in the same story. So we all need to support each other. The recent deaths in Liverpool have devastated our city, especially because one of the victims is baby Olivia, and she was only 9 years old. When Ava White died, it broke my heart. I watched their beautiful mum and what she went through with her child being taken, and I love her so much, and I'm so proud of you, you know. There is no shame for asking for help. And at the moment, what I need people to know is that when it's murder, it's not grass. You're not a grass, especially when it's a baby. A 9-year-old child has been shot, and this city is not talking. We need to help this lady get her peace. Baby Olivia did not deserve to die.
Hey, only you who has suffered a loss through murder or manslaughter can understand. We're left to face the aftermath on the darkest road ever. The dark road is called the road of grief. It causes relentless pain and trauma to those who have to walk it. We're in the depths of despair, driving one foot after the other. We stumble and fall, thinking, I will never get to the end of this road. You can never imagine you'll ever see the light again through the darkness. Don't have the energy, don't have the strength, but somehow carry on walking. Sadness and pain showing in your eyes, on your face. Carry on walking. In many cases, you just want to be left alone. To mourn your tragic loss. You have to try and claw your way through each day. Because you're too traumatized to see anything any clearer. Your life is entangled. Your heart is shattered into bits and pieces. Oh my God, the pain. Pain is so hard to bear. All through this, we wearily carry on day after day, carrying this heavy burden of grief. As the mother of the murdered son, I can say to you, despite of your pain and your grief, never forget how far you have come. After everything you've gone through, and are still going through, all the times you were pushed on, even when you felt you couldn't, all of those mornings you somehow got out of bed, no matter how hard it was, you dragged yourself up and you did it. All the times you truly wanted to give up, feeling the emptiness and the pit in your stomach, feeling the isolation, the loneliness, sometimes sheer rage. Somehow, got through another day. You'll be surprised how much strength you have developed along this dark road. This road we call life, but together we can do it, with love and support and understanding from those who are walking in the same shoes as you, and travelling the same road, make it a little bit easier and bearable. and give you the understanding and strength and encouragement you need to carry on. We're here today to recognise the National Day of Remembrance for our loved ones, to give support to those who are grieved, to offer encouragement to each other, to say to you, you are not alone, together we're in this fight. We need to gain strength because we cannot let evil defeat us. We need to be the voice for our loved ones. We will see tomorrow for them. We will survive for them. In their memory, we will fight the campaign to put an end to all the violent crime, but to stop to life in good culture. These are the crimes that has devastated our families and many others, taken away our loved ones that we cherish so dearly. Recently, we have been shocked in the city of Cornwall, with so many young lives being taken, young men and women, boys and girls, Bruce, Ada, Olivia, or to name a few. Little more than babies, shot and stabbed, innocent children who have their lives ahead of them, parents whose dreams have been shattered, and their hearts torn apart. Killed by youths, some little more than children themselves, others by grown men. It's disgraceful. This city is definitely on the rise of gun and knife crime. This city, our city, is becoming a haven for gun and knife crime. And so the suffering will go on. I'm almost ashamed sometimes of the city where I was born and reared. There are several knife crime groups around the city. I would love to see these groups come together, stand together and make themselves heard as one loud voice. Make the people at the top listen, to take action. I know the police are doing all they can to crack down on this. It's not enough, it's still happening. We're all hurting, and enough is enough. This violence has to stop. Liverpool must stand and work together against you. Give our loved ones a voice. A quote from a Minister of Justice, Right Honourable Brandon Rose says, "We work to protect and advance principles of justice. Our vision is to deliver to the world-class justice system that works for everybody in society." But it's not working, is it? I say, Right Honourable Brandon Lewis, and I talk to the bereaved families, let us work together and fight gun and knife crime. We have the will to fight. We have every reason to fight and put an end to this violent crime. We have to go forward. We have to try and make change be better. We have paid the ultimate price. Liverpool can do it every year, play our part. There is more chance in numbers rather than to go it alone. Liverpool must stand up to violence. My thoughts with all the suffering people. We are Sam. Don't suffer alone, please. Give us a call if you need us. Be there. I would like to end with a little verse that I normally end every Sam event with, and it's really from the heart to each and every one. It's called This Is Our Hope. And this is our hope, that the turmoil within you is stilled, and you find calm, that the anxiety within you is quieted, that you may find peace, that the anguish within you be healed, you may find joy, that the gentle listening and understanding of those around you be comforted in your hour of need. The pain deep in your broken heart may someday ease. That your trust in life will one day be restored. That you find the strength to help you through your darkest days. And that your hope of the future will be returned. To remember, you are not alone. Those you have loved and lost walk beside you every day.
Connected.
Because you had like Courtney Fry there as well, wasn't
Oh,
you?
I
Cool.
love
These butterflies in my belly. I suppose it was when I was boxing. At the time, I suppose it was more likely to be when I was teacher would always belittle me, put me down, tell me I would never amount to anything, probably because I was always messing about. Or there's people say, oh, you've got this test on Monday, it's a hard test. So already they've started to give me these limited feelings in my mind, so limited beliefs where I think I won't do good at this test. So all through school, I messed about. Couldn't go to school because I thought school wasn't for me. And that led out of school when I started to hang about with gangs, with lads, you know, the sort of people who parents say, don't hang about with them, they're no good for you. And then that was where I found that sense of belonging. You've had the sense of belonging with your family, your mum and dads, but then I had that sense of belonging out on the street with these lads, the gang. And then I started to get into trouble, and I thought there's a different way for me. And I found that when I got into a bit of trouble, my dad took me to a boxing gym. And from there, the street life, it just wasn't for me. I found that sense of belonging in the gym. Black, white, Chinese, Indian, wherever, rich, poor, they were my sense of belonging. And from there, you know, I excelled and I loved it and I grew with it and I decided to box. One thing I love about boxing is the one thing which I go into schools, I go to college, I work for Liverpool City Council, I work for organisations like Sports Alive, and they believe in the same ethics as I do with sport. Sport has so many transferable skills. In school, I wasn't academically sound. Yes, I believe you need to have maths and English, you need to be able to read and write, you need to be able to do all that stuff. However, I don't know one subject which teaches you what sport and stuff like drama does. Self-confidence, self-esteem, resilience, people skills, you know, hunger to achieve. And these are all stuff which I've got from boxing. So, when I met Mandy, I was introduced to her through the organ player, and so I forgot what they call him just in a second. And you know, I was delivering sessions in four corners, you know, delivering boxing sessions, helping to get these attributes across. We deliver sessions with needs, looking employment, education and training. I do detached work, I bring young people in, you know, trying to re-educate them about what life's all about. It's not about messing about, it's about, you know, progressing, becoming a better person than you are today. And you know, that's what I do. That is what I do, and I do love it. Once again, I cannot begin to imagine what you've been through, and it saddens me, and you know, I'm next to my girlfriend, obviously a tear comes from her eye, and it really makes me emotional. But one thing I do know, this needs to stop. It needs to stop now, and you know, it's just so that's a sad state of affairs. It's such a wonderful city.
I was meant to fight Courtney last year. Yeah, we were doing an exhibition, but I had the hernia off, so we couldn't fight because we were raising money for mental health.
Well, he changed me and he doesn't treat me like a girl, put it that way. And he does me
he boss fella, Courtney, you know what I mean?
I know,
Brilliant fella.
It's not good when you're 52 years of age and you're like getting held everywhere. Now, what are you doing? But
there's a lot of good in the community as well, doesn't it?
I like doing the boxing because it helps me with my anger and stuff like that. But I love him. He's a lovely man. He'd do anything for anyone.
Oh, he's brilliant, Courtney.
And he's just so much for vulnerable people.
Yeah. Every time I've asked him to do something, do you know what I mean? He's always like, when I opened Aylwood ABC, he come down with Anthony Fowler and my Uncle Paul. Yeah. And then he's always been there for us, do you know what I mean?
Lovely, Courtney. He's such a lovely soul.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I'm all day for him, you know, so that's why I wanted him to come. That's why I went to him. I've done my homework on you. I was going to need the ex-British Commonwealth town and giving it loads and that. But he is he'd do anything for anyone.
Yeah, he's a boss fella, Courtney. Like, I've got loads of time for him.
Well, I'm all about, you know, people, genuine people, you know, that we work alongside. And that. I mean, we had Quentin Green, I don't know if you know him, last year.
Well.
And I'm going to have him again next year. He's going to come up with, he's like a poet, but he's also used to work with Stormzy, you know, people like that. Oh, yeah. Lovely man.
An online campaign called Knife Crime Victim Support. an online charitable campaign, which led me to go into schools and work with police forces and county councils, and this is no sentence. Have we ever stopped to ask that boy that carries a knife what he wants to do when he's older? If his parents are still together and who his role models are? Because I guarantee you he don't live next door to a doctor. Instead, he's more than likely to be riding with thugs. And they're the ones in the community prescribing the drugs and driving those cars. And I wonder if, as a teenager, he's watching how the olders carry themselves and it's learned behaviour. I wonder if by the age of 12 he never had a father, and why? At the age of 13 he had his first balaclava. Was he ever scared? Is it that mum don't care, or is it just that she was never there? Maybe she's out trying to provide for the family, and by the time she gets back she feels tired and angry. Are there arguments at home? Is there a lack of affection? Are the boys outside offering you protection from the youths up the road in a different postcode? The reason why you always go the long way home. So the olders on the block become your bigger brothers. Now it's almost as if you're related to each other. Gang related. Now we've got a council estate kid filled with hatred who needs to be initiated before he's fully affiliated. Is that environment just making him numb? You have a choice, or is it safely in numbers? Because they're not meant to be your mentors. That's what we need grown men for, to lead by example and to nurture ambition, to teach discipline, to understand and to listen. And I apologise for generalising, for coming across like I'm stereotyping, but we all need to know we are marginalising a whole generation when we criminalise them. Who really wants to end up in prison or dying? And the social networks make it all look exciting. The way the gangs incite violence live online and it's followed by an advert to make sure we're still biting. And I'm not about to blame this all on drill. But thoughts become words, and words become real. So tell me there's not a vested interest in what's manifesting, when all the kids can hear is I splashed him and I chefed him, dipped him outside of his house and then left him. For his mum to find him? Have you been to a funeral and heard the mother crying? When her son's in the ground, it sounds like she's dying. And it's been like this for years, wiping those tears and printing those T's, saying, put the knife down, blaming police. Writing to our local MPs. I've seen mums at knife crime rallies begging on their knees like, they took my son, but make it stop, please. And it's our responsibility. Have you heard it takes a village to raise a child? But we're losing our community, so they're left to run wild. And this isn't the time for answers or excuses, but the youngers need to know there's consequences for their offences. Justice will be served if you're caught or let go. Because when you take a life, you forfeit your own. Thank you.
We had Eugene Scarfield this year, and he had a poem called "It only takes one punch, one knife, one gun to take a life."
Yeah.
And it's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, I was crying my eyes up.
Thanks so much for having me here tonight, so I can recite a bit of poetry. A bit about myself, as I mentioned, my brother was tragically murdered 7 years ago in May 2015. 7 years ago, in September 2015, I was drinking in excess of 8 litres of rum a week. That's how deeply my brother's murder affected me psychologically, emotionally, mentally, tragically. But here I am 7 years later, standing here now talking to you all. A major part of the reason I'm still here today is because of the charity called San, who you'll hear more about later. Sam National support after murder and manslaughter. Now, Sam National never took away the pain of what happened to my brother, never took away the heartache. But what Sam National did is they helped me rationalise my thoughts and feelings. And ultimately, Sam National gave me hope. So what I've tried to do in the last 7 years is I've tried to remove the elephant from the room, which is murder and manslaughter. In the 80s, it was AIDS. In the 90s, it was cancer. Coming into the 90s, it was mental health. All these now are widely supported and widely spoken about. And there's no reason why it can't be the same for murder and manslaughter. I've also tried to eradicate the stigma around murder and manslaughter. Because it's not always what it's portrayed to be. No one has got the right to be judge, jury and executioner. No one has got to have the right for any family member to lie awake at night, crying in pain. One of the biggest fears for myself and probably many others is that after a loved one's taken is that they're going to be forgotten. And that's why events like this that Mandy's put on is so important. Keeping memories alive, creating legacies for our loved ones. Everything I do, I call Michael's journey, Michael's legacy. Everything's in my brother's memory. And one of the other things I've tried to do is raise awareness to the ripple effects of murder and manslaughter. And one of the ways I've done this is by writing. And one of the things I wrote is a poem which I'm about to read to you now. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. There was a man from the estate running late. He was running for the bus when he accidentally bumped into this boy and his mate. Boys got mad, and what was sad is that one drew a knife and took the man's life. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. Now there's a grieving mother who screams at the skies above her. And on her knees at the grave, she claws at the earth with the boy she gave her life to after his birth. She's heartbroken to the core and not sure if she can go on anymore. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. Now there's a grieving father who lays awake at night wishing he tried harder. His guilt is out of control, and now he has no soul. He wants to take his son's place and be his saving grace. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. Now there's a grieving daughter who's supposed to be getting wed, but can't even face getting out of bed. Because the best day of her life has gone from good to bad, because walking her to the altar was supposed to be her dad. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. Now there's a grieving sibling, a brother, who thought he could protect his mother and his whole family, but now he's lost in the depths of insanity. He's constantly on the brink, reaching for that next drink. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. Now there's a grieving sister who feels like she's caught up in a twister, because now she is missing her big brother who would always pick up the phone and listen. She's struggling to see this is now her reality. It only takes one punch, one shot, one knife to take one life. But it's not just one life that's taken. It's a whole family trying to cope with their hearts breaking. Thank you.
Well, he ended up being an alcoholic after his brother died and that.
That's what I mean, it affects everyone, doesn't it? You know, the ripple effect of what happens, just like, you know, you can say it's the drugs, alcohol, you know. See, what I find with these kids, because obviously I work with kids, weed. They're smoking weed. They're fucking emotionless. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, they're like fucking brain dead now. Do you know what I mean? It's not the weed when we were kids. It's like, it's all that stuff that's in it. I swear, it's worse than fucking smack. You know what I mean? I think like it's so addictive, and they just change. I see the kids when they go off the rails, when they're in the gym, they start getting to 15, 16, they start dabbling. You can see the change in them. They're not there.
Well, these kids, they were all out on the bike delivering, and because old Daniel wouldn't join their gang, to terrorise the life out of him.
See, I've dealt with stuff like that myself. Yeah. The kids, we have the same things. Obviously, like with the Belle Vale area and we're in the Aylwood area. So I know myself, it's bad. Do you know what I mean? And it is very clicky.
I know.
And that's one thing what we're trying to steer them away from. But I've lost a few kids to it, you know what I mean?
Well, when it first happened, I knew if I'd ever see any of them, I couldn't help it myself, you know. I'd go, oh, by the way, it's CID, you just told me someone's just grassed on you, you know. Never. You know, doing a little bit like. So, you know, but they started to like split up a little bit because of it, and they were arguing over it. I'm going, oh yeah, right, just give a statement, you know, to CID. Just want to watch your back up there.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I have the parents as well. Like the parents will message me, say, you know, telling me about their own kids. Look, he's going off the rails, he's doing this, he's doing that. You know what I mean? I'm like,
there's no shame in asking for help. You
know?
Well,
that's what I mean. I'm like a second dad to them kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm dead close to them, do you know what I mean? I do all sorts for them.
Well, I always say a knife is not an accessory with you, no face.
Yeah.
And, you know, the supporters should not be just aimed at the kids, it's the parents as well.
Yeah,
because I know myself, I mean, I've had my twins were always away. I lived at my house was bouncing, you know, because they were always fighting and there was always line going on. But there's no shame in asking for help. So I say to parents, please reach out.
Yeah.
If you need help, just ask. Because there is no shame.
Of course.
And I mean, I'm not going to sit and lie to you and say, oh, yeah, Daniel was like Angel. He wasn't. He was hard work.
Yeah.
But he still didn't deserve to die.
Of course not.
I mean, I sleep with Daniel's pillow, and I put a clean pillowcase over it, but I haven't washed that pillowcase of it.
Yeah.
I have so many smell I've got left of him.
Yeah.
And my daughter, when the fella come, I said to her, don't let him lie on my son.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Because I get all agitated.
Yeah.
Pillows,
I can imagine.
Come off the pillow. I can't help it. Because that's the only smell I've got.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, overnight, I smell, and it sounds sick. But that's my son.
No, of course.
No, it's still
I get it. I completely get it.
I mean, I had a tattoo of him. I took 11 hours, and it is, I'll show you. Sorry, I'm not stripping. Kill me. Of him on my arm.
Oh.
And it really does look like him.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
I mean, that's with me all the time now.
Oh, fucking hell.
But it is, but I got that done because, as I say, he's mine.
Yeah, of course.
But as I say, people think, oh, yeah, she moved on by now. I say, we'll kill you, what's what, lives.
So, yeah, well, that's what I mean. You can't, one of them, it's easier said than done. It's one of the worst things that I think any parent could go through. I mean, I had the similar things myself when I was growing up. You know, some lads tried to stab me in the same place 30 years ago.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? It's fucking crazy because I was only 14 myself and I fucking couldn't terrorise me. Do you know what I mean? So, like, he was sending people up to my house, get them out so I can stab them on the rally and all that, you know what I mean? So, I think I suffer from PTSD because I couldn't fucking sleep. Couldn't sleep.
I can't.
And then when I met me missus, I was only 15. We ended up seeing the lad and we sorted it out. Not even a year later, he got done for murdering him. Got 25 years, mate.
Oh, my God.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, how lucky was I, lad, not to lose my fucking life?
I know.
Do you know what I mean? And the stuff that my mum could have went through is what you're going through now. And I think, fucking hell, that's why I wanted to get you on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like...
Well, I say to the kids, how close relationships have you all got with your mum? Put your hands up if you all love your mum, because you know they're all going to put their hands up. So I said, imagine it was your mum holding you bleeding out on the floor.
That's exactly it.
And I know it's a harsh thing to say to kids, but they need to realise.
Yeah.
I said, imagine if your mum had to watch you bleed out, watch the colour drain out of you. Imagine what damage that would do to your mother.
Of course, you never get over it.
Yeah, well, that's why I object to people telling me to grieve and move
that's
on.
it.
I just think, no.
I think your family probably says that because they want to try and help you, but they don't fully understand.
They're not helping me, though. They're just pushing me away. I look at, oh, she's got too much. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I know my mum's old and everything else, but what my mum needs to realise is Daniel was her grandchild.
Yeah.
He wasn't her step-grandchild. He was her full-blooded grandchild.
Yeah.
And to do that is an absolute betrayal. And I can't forgive it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My son comes first in my eyes. And I know he's not here and you've got to live with the living and that. But it's my child.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
Even our John doesn't understand, you know, he just thinks I'm being
I don't
cuckoo.
think anyone could though. Because like it's your child, isn't it? No matter what relationship, it's like you give birth to that, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't think anyone could understand that.
You know? I mean, when he was 15, he told this 22-year-old that he was 21. And she had a baby playing stepdad. He said, this baby had to go knock on the door and get him out. I said, did you know he's 15, love, don't you? He was laughing his head off. She was going, what? I said, yeah, it's like statutory rape, that, you know, get out now. But he did make me laugh. I mean, his girlfriend, she's gorgeous. I love her, you know. She's such a lovely girl. And like, I remember one girl, you know, at first we had like all the, on the field, they put all flowers there. And I heard this girl go, oh my God, Danny's not going to be here for the baby. So you'd automatically think, don't you, oh, is that my grandchild? So it's run. I said, come here. And let me kidnap you, take you home with me. She said, no, it's not Danny's. She went to his mates. And I went, yeah, you're just lying, aren't you? But I wish she had a baby.
That's what I mean, yeah. That's what I mean. It's like the things you dread. You think, oh, I don't want me son or my daughter to have a baby. But then, like, if something like that happens, you'd wish for it because something's
Do you know what? He was a proper dirtbag, him, no girls. You know, he really was. Honestly, I feel ashamed sometimes. I'd have people knocking on the door going, hey, your son's upset my daughter. And I said, listen, love, go and find yourself someone else. Don't be bothering with him. I'm going to kill him. But he had a good heart, though, you know. I mean, over the years, my house was like what is it called, where you take kids in?
Like a
So he was bringing kids in with him.
Yeah.
Mum, let them stay. And I go,
trying to give them like a good support system or
no,
whatever.
they had a fight with the mum.
Yeah.
And so what I'd do is I'd feed them, let them stay the night, and then I'd put them in the car. I'd right, you're going home.
Oh.
Go and apologise to your mother.
Yeah.
Take it on the chin. Don't argue with her. And then this woman stopped me just after Daniel died. I know my mum said, like, religious. We had to go to this church thing. I didn't want to go. And she come over to me and she said to me, thank you for what you did for my grandson. I went, who's your grandson? I couldn't think at the time. So she said he'd fell out with his mum. She said, we were worried. You took him in, you fed him, you made him get a wash and all that, and you brought him home and you shouted at him and told him to say sorry. She said, and he come in and did exactly what you told him to do. So, I mean, I appreciated what she said. But our Daniel was always bringing everyone out.
Yeah.
Oh, Mum, come on, just let them live here for a bit. I mean, there was one kid who was living in the flat. I was doing all his washing and his ironing. Do you know what I mean? And I'd give him money for. I mean, you don't mind when they appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, he bring to. Yeah, you know, he has brought some wrong guns in with him, which I had to get rid of at the same time. And then, he had this girl once. Oh, I hated her. You know, she'd come. The skirt was up here. And these big boots. And she went, is Danny there? And I went, no one called Danny lives here. Someone called Daniel does, though. Bye. And shut the door. No, Daniel went, Mom! I said, get her down my path. Get her away from me. She looked like a prostitute.
Oh, fucking hell.
With a fake house on, and she was like showing it. And I was like, oh. So I said, Daniel, aim higher. Just try. Oh, my God. And I remember he had no fear. And in Lee Park, do you remember the big thing at the start of Lee Park's like a big, don't know what it is, by the flats.
Yeah.
Well, he jumped off it, didn't he?
Fuck off.
And his ankle come away from his leg. He twisted it himself round like that. The two women, because he was a big kid, the two women couldn't lift him in the ambulance, so I had to go and get our John. I call our John Johnny Mac. I have done that since he was a kid. So Johnny Mac had to come round and help lift him in the ambulance because he was that big. And that, and he had to set his legs. So he was in a wheelchair for a while. Oh, he was a crank and a half.
Yeah.
Well, he lost his virginity in the wheelchair and then come back and told me on the rally. Do you know what I mean? His mates took him for a walk. Oh, sorry, I keep knocking you.
I think if that rally could talk, mate,
but he
tell some stories.
And then, but Daniel come back and tell me. He said, Mum, I just lost my virginity on the rally. I don't want to know. I said, why are you telling me that? In his wheelchair?
Fucking hell.
So, but I mean, at least he did tell me things, you know what I mean?
Oh, fucking hell, it's so sad, like.
I know.
But it's mad as well because, like, that, the rally, the Texaco and all that, you know what I mean? It's like, that's where we all used to go.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? So that was like the congregation. So if you like Belvale, Lee Park, Townside, Ribble, like Gattaca, South Station, everyone used to go to, like...
But you know, the community was, they were lovely, you know, so supportive. I mean, when it happened, you don't think so, you'd have it, but I'll tell you what, out of cards that were coming through the door from all around our area, I couldn't believe it, you know, it was so nice and it was lovely and it meant a lot to me. And I just thought, you know, we need to change things, we really do.
Yeah.
You see, for me to speak about Daniel, I love it.
Yeah,
because
of course.
I'm proud to be his mum. I'm proud to talk about Daniel. And I think Daniel deserves to be spoken about.
Yeah, most definitely.
The same as Ava does.
Yeah.
And like, you know, to me, people go, oh yeah, how can you stand up and talk about your son? Well, when you walk in my shoes for a week, come back and tell me.
Of course.
You know, that's what I'm saying. People have got too much stake, but if they had to do what we do, they haven't got a clue. I said this poem called My Shoes in the cathedral. A pair of shoes, they are ugly shoes. These aren't nice. They are uncomfortable shoes and I hate them. Each day I wear them and each day I wish I had another pair. Some days my shoes are hurt so bad that I do not think I can take another step yet. I do continue to wear them. I get funny looks of people wearing these shoes. They are looks of sympathy. I can tell in people's eyes that they are glad that they are my shoes and not theirs. People never talk about my shoes. To learn how awful my shoes are will make people feel uncomfortable. To truly understand these shoes, you must walk in them, but once you put them on, you can never take them off. I now realise that I am not the only one who wears these shoes. There are many pairs of shoes in this world. Some women like me ache daily as they try to walk in them. Some have learned how to walk in them so that they don't hurt quite as much. Some have worn the shoes so long that the days will go by before they think about how much they hurt. No woman or man deserves to wear these shoes, yet because of these shoes, I am a stronger woman and I am who I am today. These shoes have given me the strength to face anything. I will forever walk in these shoes of a woman who's lost a child to murder or manslaughter. To have a child taken from you, the grief is permanent and it is forever. We cannot remove ourselves from this story because we struggle with the same painful, heart-wrenching circumstances. My story is your story. We are all in this together. The day my son, your daughter, your loved one died is now, yesterday, tomorrow and forever. People may think, and I know this to be true because I've experienced this myself, that is what we need to get over because it was 4 years, 30 years or even more. Unfortunately, regardless to what people think, my son dies every day that I wake up. And I know that all the other victim families feel exactly the same as what I do. Parents, please make sure you know where your children are, who they're hanging around with, and more importantly, please check your children for weapons because by doing so, you could save another child's life. Basically what it is these shoes, we hate these shoes. They hurt, but we can't take them off, basically. That's what we were saying. That to walk in our shoes, to put these shoes on, you can't take them off. Yeah. And I wouldn't want anyone to have to do that, you know, because, again, it's hard work. So to be a person in our position wearing these shoes that we have to wear that we can't ever take off, I wouldn't give that anyone them because it's just hard.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I just keep wishing that, you know, this never happened and it was a nightmare. But as I say, the trolling that I've had and everything else never put me off. I mean, why? I'll never give them me power either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, it made me laugh because you'll probably put onto your podcast, there wasn't murdered, it was manslaughter. We go, okay, thank you. But he's just, I don't know, he's getting out next year. That upsets me.
Yeah.
But he'll be on licence for 5 years. But I'm trying to keep him out of Liverpool because his dad lives in Bootle. I live in Bolton now. It's a massive, normally it's a 5 mile radius that they're not allowed in. So it's difficult for probation because he's based up there. And then you've got to come all the way round to the other side of the city. So it's a massive area. So I said, why should I change my life because that coward's getting out of jail? I deliver talks all over Liverpool.
Yeah.
What have happened if I bump into him? God knows what's going. Do you know what I mean? Why should I be put in that position?
Yeah.
He's took so much from me. His father can't see that.
Yeah.
The police said to me once, and I've had murder with them over it, well, he's lost his son as well. How's he lost his son?
Yeah. It's not
His
the
son
same at all.
breathes. He can speak to his son. He can smell his son. He can hug his son. I can't.
Yeah.
Don't you think I wish I could, like, you know?
I think that's what people look at from the outside. They look at like, well, you know, Daniel's lost his life and he's lost his liberty, but they try and compare them. And there's no difference. Do you know what I mean?
It isn't. I'm like, he's like trying to play a victim and that, and I go, hang on a minute. You can talk to him on the phone.
That's what I mean.
You can go and visit him. You can hug him. I can't do that with my child. And apart from trying to dig him up, which I've got over now, I can't do that no more. But I was going to dig him up. Because I thought he hated being on his own all the time.
Yeah.
He was proper mama's boy, I had him ruined to sign his boxies and everything. It was terrible. But to me, I mean, I just thought he hated being on his own.
Yeah.
And then it was only through my mother, but the best was they dug a grave next to him. My mother there fell in it, she's going, what are you doing? And her leg went in. We had to like drag it out. And she's going, stop laughing, it's not funny. Me and our Jane were in bulk laughing. I couldn't move off. But it was. But our Jane used to worry me because Ed and Daniel were so close.
Yeah.
I mean, Jane looks like me and Daniel looked like Jane and me. And even his hair, my man's got curtains and straight as a bull, but our Jane's got like a curl. And Daniel had the same curl and she idolised him. And to our Jane, the pain, I knew what pain. She used to put a hand in the mud, Do you remember that film, Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Where the woman come out the coffin. She goes to me, yeah, but just in case,
fucking hell.
That's what I'm saying. And people think, oh, little weirdos. It's not.
No.
It's like Jane was feeling my pain with me. That's why I just can't get over the fact why they're telling me to grieve and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, Jane's like my twin sister. There's 18 months between us. And she's always had my back. But I just feel over this, it's like, I know she's trying to protect my mum because my mum's old and all that. But I'm her sister and I'm the closest thing she's got. It's like, Kelly, I've never got a relationship with Kelly, to be honest with you. I never really have.
Yeah.
Kelly removed herself when she was with that idiot for years who she's got the baby to.
Yeah.
And then come back. She didn't really know my kids and that, but she's put herself in a position that I don't like.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but they're supposed to be my family.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like my family is supporting me right now.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible thing to have to say.
Yeah.
But what kills me more is our John, because I absolutely love him. And I love Olivia and his new baby.
Yeah. I seen his Miss posted.
He had to have an operation.
Yeah.
And she said it's the hardest 3 hours of my life. I love Suzanne because Suzanne gets it.
Yeah.
I've got a good relationship, and she said to me, those 3 hours, she said, what you're going through, what I went through in them 3 hours. She said, I just can't imagine.
Yeah.
To our John, after them 3 hours, to me, should understand just a little tiny bit, because it's nowhere near it, how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
It's just hard, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like the family, they want to understand, but it's kind of impossible to them to fully understand, even though they want the best for you and they want to support you. It's kind of like it's kind of like a pull and push kind of thing, because they could do one thing that 1 week might be fine or whatever, and then the next week it's like they're asking you to kind of suppress your emotions or whatever, and you might be feeling a certain way where you don't want to, because it's okay not to.
See, the first Christmas after Daniel died, we all used to go to my mum's Christmas dinner, and they're all sitting there eating dinner. I just had to get off. I hate Christmas Day now. I sit in the cemetery all day.
Yeah, I know, I can imagine.
And he loved Christmas Day only because he was a spoiled brat. But he said, I better get more than Annie. That was his main thing. You haven't got Annie more than me, have you? That's all he cared about. He had to be like Annie. Well, don't get me wrong, I had him ruined. But I used to be paranoid over him because his ear, in case anyone hit him on his good ear.
I'm deaf in my ear.
Well, I am now because of his idiot father. It's another story, but that good ear of his. If anyone went near them, I'd make sure of him in the streets. I'd go, get up! Because I didn't want him to become completely deaf. And the girls always used to think, oh, yeah, he's the blue eye. Yeah, he was. All day.
Yeah.
But Daniel needed more support than they did. Daniel needed a lot more than what they needed. All my girls were quite independent. He needed to be picked up so the kids couldn't get him. And people look from the outside in, the girls probably think, oh yeah, everything's about Daniel. No, it isn't. I love my kids unconditionally. I mean, I've fought for them all my lives. I mean, I've protected them all my lives. I've brought them up on my own. And to me, they are my life. But it's kind of like even they don't get it now. So I've just thrown myself into Danny's place because I need to help. I don't want another mother to go through this pain. And it's kind of like, although I miss Daniel unbelievably, I just don't want another mother to have to deal with what we're dealing with. I mean, anyone that can sit in a cathedral and listen to what you listened to that night, to have the audacity to tell me to move on, I just think, whoa, I need to remove myself away.
Of course,
So all I do is, I say, I love Danny's place. It just allows me to, I feel like I'm connected to Daniel when I'm doing it. And it does help me so much.
Well, I think just speaking about it's helping other people as well. Because a lot of people don't talk.
No, they don't. I mean,
that's the good thing.
It is. It's just hard.
And it's keeping his memory alive as well. When you're talking, you're reminding the things.
I think he deserves to be spoken about. But again, if I can stop one child from picking a knife up, that would mean everything to me.
Why I done the boxing club was just to get rid of the antisocial behaviour, because there was kids just, the knife crime, drug crime, the antisocial behaviour, riding in roads on bikes. And I just thought, fucking little pricks you do in my head, but got nothing to do.
The rats.
So that's why I opened the club, do you know what I mean? So I thought, if I can help these kids get into something, give them a bit of discipline, get them boxing, and the club, our club's shocking.
Well, I always say, and I've said it from day one, the moment that all youth services removed is the downfall in this city. And to me, if kids are occupied and they've got things to do, especially boxing, I always push the boxing. You find the kids aren't as bad as, what they're being portrayed right now. And I think the kids are getting a bad time. But I do also, I think that, it takes a village to raise a child. So I think Liverpool needs to start standing up to some of these kids. But with the kids as well, we need to start listening more to them. Kids need to say, no, gang mentality is not the way to go. But all these houses are getting built everywhere, right? But not one. I've got like a little community centre.
I was going to say, the community centre where my club is in the back of the Boise. And the Boise, apart from like what Dawn and Mark do, they do loads of stuff after school, stuff like that. But other than that, it's not like the way it used to be. It used to be shocking. Kids coming everywhere, and speaking at the venue and all that. Belvale, you had all that. It's not like that no more, lad.
No.
You know what I mean?
It used to be thriving, didn't it? That community feel was powerful.
Like the youth centre, I used to go in Lee Park, St. Stephen's, that was shocking.
I know.
We used to queue up outside, do you know what I mean? It was like...
Well, there's a lady who works in Aintree Hospital. She's to do with Nick Misra. She does it on a Friday night now. But all the kids are in there. I went in there to do a little talk for them. And none of them are from Lee Park. And they were all dead good. And I knew dead nice kids and that, not nosy kids. I knew I'm not expecting them. It's sort of, I can relate better to nosy kids because I was nosy.
I can't myself, you know what I mean?
But it's kind of like, I like going into the youth centres with the kids and talking to them, and I go and box. I'm going to Yorkshire and Huddersfield next year to boxing places. And I go and talk to them. And I show them 3 videos and I do my talk and stuff like that. But if youth services start to realise that, hang on a minute, got all these kids with nothing to do. Let's build some more places. Let's throw money in there and do, help the kids more, because the children are our future.
Yeah, of course.
So if we don't deal with this now, these kids are going to grow up with the same mentality that they've had and put it into their children.
Yeah, and each generation's going to get worse.
Thank you.
No, prevention.
Yeah, so we need to start educating them now.
Of course.
Even the parents. Again, parents, please know there's no shame. There isn't. God, I asked for help, don't get me wrong, I never got it. But now, I think you find that you may get just a little bit more. I mean, even if you want to contact Danny's Place, I'll help anyone, me.
Yeah, you've got a massive...
So what's the score with Danny's Place? Like where is it? How can
It's in my house. If you contact me on Facebook, Instagram,
Do you move it
Twitter,
around? Do you go anywhere else with it?
I go all over the city, outside of Liverpool as well, jail. Anyone who wants me to speak, I go there.
Okay.
But because we're not a community centre, we're like a community hub, I've got a little office set up in mine.
Yeah.
And that's Danny's Place. So, again, I do loads for probation, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
I work with ex-offenders, helping them. And I get through to them. And that means so much to me as well.
Yeah, of course.
But it is, people don't get it. They don't. And I think it's a shame. And I think a lot, when we were doing the walk on Saturday, me, because I've got like big gob, I'm shouting, come on, we need to save our kids, please donate. And people were walking past us. So I said, don't ever think that it won't happen to you.
Yeah, that's it. But that's why I want to get on, because I think that's the thing. People don't ever think it's going to happen to them.
I thought it wouldn't happen to me.
That's
I thought, because I'd sent him up to his dad, he's safe now.
Fine,
yeah.
It doesn't work that way. So please, parents, don't ever think that it's not going to happen to you, because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
But I would never ever want anyone to go through it. I really won't. But I say, I'm not going to stop. The fight's going to continue, and I'm not going to stop at all. So anyone who'd like me to come in and do a talk, please contact Danny's Place on Facebook or whatever.
We can do stuff like that anyway, because like my missus is the secretary for England Boxing now. Do you know what I mean? So
brilliant.
She can get you in all the clubs in
that'd
Merseyside
be
and
great.
Cheshire. So that's something that we're gonna be looking into. Obviously, you can come into our club, Airwood ABC. So because I did speak to John about that, and that was one of the things why I wanted to reach out to you. Do you know what I mean? And I think that it's just going to be that powerful.
I know Johnny
for the
Mack
kids.
thinks he's me manager, doesn't he? Oh, no, he isn't. He's lovely. But out the my mum's 4 kids, John is what we call the sensitive child. He's very feeling. And I remember when I looked up in the cathedral, I just seen John. And I do love him, and I do miss him, but they need to realise that they're hurting me.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? It's because it's, when it's family. I've gone through years when I haven't spoken to my sister. I love her to bits. I've gone through years when I haven't spoken to my dad and my mum.
I mean, I love our Jane to death, I really do, and I miss her. I miss them all, but they need to start respecting me. I'm not being funny. The job that I've been doing nearly 30 years, and I am quite good at it. Danny's Place is going really well. I've launched the Knife Angel this year, as well as doing the Vigil and a lot more other things that I've done. We're doing good. We do a lot of work with Ava White Foundation, who are absolutely lovely. I love them to death. And that's so, whatever you need, just let me know. I'll be there all day.
That's the thing as well. I mean, without mentioning other people's names, there's a lot of people that do it for the wrong reasons. Do you know what I mean?
Parasites,
It's finding the people who do it for the right reasons.
I don't charge for what I do.
Well, that's a big one, isn't it? Because some of these like today put a price tag on it, don't they? You know what I mean? And they don't actually do anything.
No, they don't. They just talk the talk, charge loads of money, and pretend that they're connected to other people when they're not. They tell lies. Parasite.
So that was another thing, is getting the right people in, isn't it? You know what I mean?
And I think when you get someone in that's been through it and is willing to be able to talk. I mean, don't get me wrong, they all start crying, all the kids, when I finish.
I'm nearly crying myself, do you know what I mean?
I've cried a few times, and just speaking to you now and listening to you, and that's where the beauty is for me, is like listening. Like your messaging, heartbreaking as it is so powerful. And also I can just tell you've got an absolute gorgeous heart. You're just such a nice person deep down. And
that means a lot to me, that. Thank you.
And you're not helping everyone listening, but like, you've done the Vigil, you bringing communities together, as well as different kind of like even the police are kind of trying to work with you.
Yeah, they are.
And that they're probably the most difficult people to work with, aren't they? Cause
the police now. I do a lot for the police now.
Yeah.
I do a lot with. I love Emily Spurrell. She's the police commissioner. She's so supportive of what I do. She spoke that night as well for me. And
so every time I come to these events, I'm just overwhelmed really by the emotion, but also just how much strength there is in the room from people like Mandy, Cheryl, Eugene, Larry, just so many of you, just absolutely incredible with how you have processed what's happened, how you try and make a legacy, a positive legacy for the lives that were lost. I always feel quite, whatever I say, the words that I can say often feel inadequate. I'm going to do my best because I think, I have a duty to try and get this right, but I am very conscious that probably whatever I say today will pay in comparison to the testimonies that you've already heard. So obviously we're here today as we bring family and friends together to kind of remember those who we have lost as a result of gun and knife crime. It's a stark reminder of the devastating impact of these crimes on individuals, on families and on communities. Scarcely a day goes by without another tragic story about knife crime, and sadly we have seen the heartbreaking consequences here in Merseyside far too many times. Ava, Danny, Michael, Sam, Alan, so many names. Ashley, Olivia, just too many names to mention, and they all provide us such a devastating reminder that we can never give up in our battle to put a stop to violent crime for good. We have an opportunity today to remember and to show solidarity with the victims of these crimes and the families whose lives have been lost or irrevocably changed. But also, I think tonight needs to be a powerful call to action. Mary said it herself, we need to see change, a catalyst to bring us all together to renew our commitment to preventing and tackling the use of violence and bringing about long-lasting change to make our communities safer. From the police and the council to our brilliant third sector organisations to our local community and faith groups, our businesses, our schools, our youth groups, we know that the commitment to getting involved and helping to spread this important message is there and we get a huge response. And I really want to say thank you to all of you because as we've heard more than once tonight, it is on all of us. All of us have to play a role in helping to tackle this violence. And we know that the police can't tackle violent crime on their own. If we are truly to make our community safer, we must all pull together to increase awareness and education, to divert young people away from crime and prevent these tragedies from ever taking place. We must act earlier and quicker if we are to protect our young people. We must ensure that they know the dangers of picking up a knife or carrying a gun. And we must offer them better alternatives to getting involved in crime. For my part, I work hard to try and support diversion activities across our region. I'm working with Merseyside Police to release Community Cashback Fund, which reinvests money that we've taken from criminals and put it back into the community to reduce crime and antisocial behaviour, offering diversion activities for young people and support of vulnerable members in the community. I also launched my Youth Diversion Fund, which ran for the first time over the summer holidays and will run again this autumn half term. Again, providing some cash and support for community organisations who are working to support young people, to provide them with safe and engaging activities during the dark winter nights. Sadly, after many years of cuts to our youth services, many young people sadly feel they have nowhere to go and nothing to do. And these community-based activities can provide a lifeline for some of these kids, ensuring that there are safe, fun, enjoyable activities for young people right across Merseyside. Through my Victim Care Merseyside service, I'm also proud to commission a host of fantastic organisations who work with people affected by who have been victims of crime. Heartbreakingly, a number of these services include families who have suffered the ultimate loss when a knife has been used on a loved one. I'm extremely proud to support the work of these services and these organisations. But of course, my ultimate goal is that no more families should ever need their services. No more families should ever suffer that crushing loss. Every time a family reaches out for their support, we have failed, and another family is left broken. Our goal has got to be to get upstream, to stop these incidents from taking place in the first place. Preventing crime is a priority for me. It's set out in our police and crime plan, and I know it's also a priority for our Chief Constable. A huge amount of work is already being done through our various organisations, including our Violence Reduction Partnership, the Community Safety Partnerships. You've already heard about some of the brilliant work that Knife Savers are doing to try and deliver some of these interventions and prevent this serious violence from occurring. Their focus and my focus is on stopping these crimes from ever taking place to begin with. And so that's why remembering those who have been lost is so important. They inspire all of us to do more and to fight harder. A huge thank you to everybody who has brought us together tonight. A huge thank you to Mandy for her tireless work to tackle knife crime in honour of Danny. But also a huge thank you to all of you for being here today. Again, it's been said many times before, but we absolutely have to pull together to tackle this if we're going to make a real long-lasting change. So a big thank you from me. Thank you.
Yeah, the police get me to do all kinds of talks, but even down to like, do you know, I kick off over it. They said to me, the deceased family's in the course. I said, his name's not deceased, his name's Daniel.
Yeah.
And I kick off a probation. So I'm trying to change their way of thinking.
Yeah.
Please don't say.
But it's just educating them, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Just common sense.
Yeah, yeah.
They said, that's the way we trained us. Well, maybe you need to change it.
Exactly.
I said, because the way I look at it is, would you like your child to be called deceased? You know, give him his name.
Yeah. That's another thing, because you've actually gone through it, when you say something, you listen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is where if someone else is just talking, you're like, whatever. But when someone, it's powerful when it comes from someone who it's actually affected.
The reason why I moved is for 2 years I put up with that. Coming home from work, seeing them going past me on the bikes, and it killed me, you know. Yeah. I even bought a wig. I was going to pad myself or put this wig on and go and get them all. That's one of the things that you go through, because again, I'm like a bleacher beacon, so, you know, I was going to get this brown wig, put it on, and like, but you can't. It's just, I couldn't do that. I'd be as bad as them then, wouldn't I?
Yeah. It's rising above that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so education to me is key.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it is brilliant what you're doing, like, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But is there anything I can do? Just let me know.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm there all day.
Yeah, it's great having you on.
So you're brothers, aren't you?
Yeah, we're brothers. We've got different mums. We've got different mums. So, yeah, my dad left me mum.
Well,
so that's where I struggled, because my dad left me mum when I was 2.
Yeah.
And he went to Runcorn then, and he had another family, but me and him are like dead close. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, my dad, I call him my dad because I've only had that, to me, that one father is John McKelvey.
Yeah.
He's brought me up since I was a child. It's the only father I've ever known. Oh, John, it may be my half brother, but he's not to me, he's my brother.
Yeah.
We've got different dads, but he, to me, I mean, I love him.
Yeah, that's what me and him are like, to be fair. Like, you wouldn't think, apart from us looking different, you wouldn't think that we, like,
well, John's got a look at me,
close, you know what I mean?
And Jane's like me. Kelly's more like the McKelveys, where John's more like us, but it's just hard, it is. Yeah. And I know that they're feeling, and I'm not saying that I'm the only one that's grieving, because I'm not, but that was my child. It's completely different.
Fucking hell, so sad, so sad.
It would, as I say, apparently it just get easy in about 10 years.
Yeah. You do say time's a healer, but it'll just be a continuous.
Well, Maddie Ellis still feels the same way I do now, 30 years on.
Yeah.
But she's learned to live with it differently.
Yeah.
So that woman, she's amazing, you know, I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows, she reads me like a book. She goes, Mandy, come and see me now, never puts up on Facebook. She goes, Mandy. So, I mean, I need that.
Yeah.
I do, because I don't listen to anyone else but Maddie Ellis. I know John tries to think he's head of the family, and he's not. Yeah. I say, listen, lads, I've got 10 years on you. So when you grow up in 10 years, come back and say the same to me. Because I help everyone. I sort everyone's problems out, you see. Yeah. So they all run to me. But as I say, I just, hopefully, whatever comes, it will get back to speaking. But right now, I don't want to speak to them.
Yeah.
I'm better away from
sometimes
it.
it's a good thing, though, when you take yourself away from it, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I have.
You know, rather than being around it and just making it worse, it's nice just to, you know, it's
I've
not,
just
there's not wrong in, like, just removing yourself for a bit, you know what I mean?
I've just removed myself out the way. I mean, I seen our John on Sunday. He was with our Olivia. It was funny because she still had the Danny's Place t-shirt on and a Liverpool lass on.
Oh.
So he just went to bed. So we just picked our baby up, kissed her and blanked him and walked away. But it killed me.
Yeah.
Because I do, our John out of them, I idolise him, really do. Feel dead protective over him as well, you know.
That was the reason why you're on, to be honest. It was John that sorted it, because he had nothing but good things to say about you.
Well, he rung me up the day of the vigil and he went, Mandy, I need to do this. And anyway, so I went, oh yeah, you're ringing me now, I've spoken to you for how long? I said, oh yeah, you're killing you, aren't you?
Well, listen, lad, thanks for coming on, Mandy.
You're very
anyway.
welcome anytime, honestly.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's been boss having you on. It was
welcome.
sad and it was powerful, and I think cried about 5 times days, you know what I mean?
I have that effect, I'm sorry.
Well, thanks for coming on anyway.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just the strength with, like, you know, the structure of your day and stuff like that. For anyone listening, what kind of would you say? Because you say you get up at 5:30 to kind of process things and get your day going. Is there anything any kind of tip you'd give anyone based on?
Just reach out and speak to someone who's been through the same, because unless you do that, you feel as if like you're going off your head, and people don't get that. So if you are going through what I'm going through, please reach out, because you're not going off your head. It's actually normal.
Yeah.
And it's actually okay to feel the way you're feeling.
Who are backing a new award in memory of their sons who were both stabbed to death.
£1,000 will be won by 3 young people every year who try to do something to combat the triggers that can lead to knife crime, things like poor education or mental health problems.
It's being run by an independent school in Liverpool who offer help to those excluded or not suited to mainstream classrooms. Anne O'Connor has this report.
5 years ago this month, 17-year-old Brandon Regan was stabbed and left to die in a garden in Speke by older men angered he'd taken a scooter. 6 months later, in July 2018, Gee Jamieson died from stab wounds. The 16-year-old knifed by another teenager, backed by dozens of boys in a park in Belvale. Brandon and Danny were unarmed when they died. Their killers have been jailed. The victims' mothers are imprisoned in grief.
It's unbearable. It is.
And does time make any difference? Does it heal?
Never. I'll never get over it. Ever.
It's hard work being a grieving mother, you know. Every single day is exactly the same. When I close my eyes overnight, I see Daniel. And then every morning you wake up and it's the same again, because you realise he's gone. When your child has been taken the way our kids were taken, it's another level, put it that way. And it's not something that you can just get over.
Both boys had been at Employability Solutions in Garston, an alternative education centre for teenagers excluded from or unsuited to mainstream education. Their murders, within months of each other, are still felt by their teachers.
To go into your class and there's just 2 empty seats, it's horrendous. And obviously, you know, your needs come second, because you've got a whole class full of peers who need your support, who are heartbroken, devastated, traumatised. A team who are just literally on their knees. Like, it was some really dark days for us.
This place is offering what it calls a platform for change, a £1,000 prize to young people who do something to counteract the chaos that can lead to crime.
Acknowledging the memory of the boys had to be something that was very much about young people focusing on what's strong, not what's wrong, and giving them access to opportunities and a wraparound support that our organisation can offer that would last a lifetime.
If we are in a position to be able to help these kids, why not? Because what it does is it shows them that there is an actual different path, that you don't have to join a gang, that you don't have to go around stabbing people or carrying a knife because it goes with your North Face now.
For Julie and Mandy, it is a little solace and a remembrance of their sons. Anne O'Connor, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, powerful and emotive stuff. A lot of good work being done out there.
Because people think it's not. It's okay to be cuckoo. Yeah. I call myself cuckoo grieving mother, and I like it. So, you know, reach out. People are there to help you. Not people who don't know, people who've been through it.
Now, we had the privilege of meeting an extraordinary group of strangers this series who have formed an unlikely bond through tragic events. Here is their story.
I felt incredibly alone, incredibly isolated. I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Unless you've been in the same situation, most people don't know what to say. Most people don't know how to respond.
You think as if like you're going off your head, that no one understands what you're going through.
Every year in the UK, hundreds of people become victims of homicide, leaving families to deal with the pain of their loss.
Well, thanks again.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. This podcast is sponsored by Riddle Holt Builders. I want to inspire people to train so they can see the power of exercise and what it can do for the brain. Do you want to change your lifestyle, your outlook on life, physique, and have a laugh while doing so? I don't take myself too seriously, and I like to create a fun atmosphere in the gym. Working alongside some brilliant boxing coaches in Halewood ABC. It's about bringing the community together. In Synetico Fitness Centre, there's boxing-based fitness classes and boss PTs. We have a female-only boxing boogie with the DJ too. I've got a big mouth and a big heart. I like to speak my mind, encourage others and help people to open up. There's a podcast coming, a documentary. I've used sport and boxing to fight my demons. It can help you fight yours.